Hello and welcome to another episode of the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast. This is episode 83. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Ryan Cross, from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for broadcasts for shooters, hunters, and gun enthusiasts. Today I have with me Chad and John. Thanks for joining.
Yeah, hi Ryan.
Glad to be here. Hi.
Yeah. John was on one previous episode, so we're very happy to have him on. And, of course, Chad's usually 50-50 chance he's on anyway. So appreciate both of your attendance tonight.
Yeah, no problem.
So what did everyone do in guns this week?
I'll let John go first.
Did some load developments and coached some shooting for my friend's bachelor party.
Very nice.
Well, I was supposed to do all kinds of fun stuff, but my daughter got sick, so I stayed home while my wife went to work. There was a machine gun shoot here at the local range, and I was supposed to help work it, but that didn't work out. So.
Yeah. I wanted to make that, too. That'd be worth the drive down there.
Well, you know, next year you'll be closer.
Yeah, that is true. It'll just be a straight shot down I-5. So yeah, I am moving here in the next couple of weeks, so I've been just kind of packing. But before I packed up my reloading room, as sad as that sentence is to say, I thumped out like 200-something rounds of 308. Like the varget was just flowing like water. It was awesome.
It's a good day.
Yep, loaded up a bunch of that. I was going to do some 22-250, but I was running out of time, so that'll probably be the next thing I start loading for when I get over the mountains and get kind of more situated and stabilized. I did have my 22-250 threaded so that I could put my 30 cal suppressor on it, and I'm interested to see how well that does in taking the snap out of the sound and making it good for coyotes and other varmints.
I think you'll be pleasantly surprised, even though it's a 30 cal can. Usually from everything I've heard, they typically are only a few decibels louder than the 30 cal.
Yeah. Well, it's all about that volume inside,
Yep.
So it should be pretty good. I had it threaded for the 1/2 thread pitch, and I have an adapter I bought from Bushnell's to screw on there for the 5/8 thread pitch. So it's a little extra step, but in case I ever wanted to just put a regular 22 caliber muzzle brake on there, I didn't want it to be like wonky. So.
Yep.
Yep. Well, anywho, let's get right into the announcements. The only announcement we have is guests are welcome. So just like Chad and John, who both started out as a listener who had nothing better to do than to join me on the podcast, and now they're part of our warm family. So if you're interested in coming on the podcast to talk about your favorite piece of gear or to defend horses, if we ever talk about horses again, just send me an email, cross@firearmsradio.tv. So this first product we're going to talk about this week is a pretty dope scope ring setup from Cadex Defense. I mentioned them probably right after SHOT Show with their chassis that they offer for the Remington 700. Very expensive chassis, but very well built and modular. So it looks like they've got some pretty good scope rings that you can customize right from the shopping cart. So you showed me these, Chad. Where did you find these?
Yeah. Actually, the weird thing was I was just looking around and it popped up and I go, Cadex, don't they make chassis? And so then I went, of course, looking and I saw these and I'm like, hey, a one-piece scope mount that you can actually, get what you want out of it. I mean, I don't know exactly what it says, but you get your scope base, you kind of choose the height. What is it? You can get a 1.5 inch high 30 millimeter or a 1 1/4 inch high 34 millimeter or 1.5 inch high 34 millimeter, which is pretty cool. And then on the rear top of the scope ring, it looks like, you can get your standard rear scope clamp, or as an option, you can get the one with a bubble level built in, which, as we all know, that's cool. Helps you keep your scope level. And then the other options they have is on the front, where the scope top mount screws on. Looks like they have a few other options. The standard one, it looks like one that's kind of an offset side rail, which so you could, I guess, put a little red dot or something on there. Then it has one that has a rail on top of it. So if you wanted to do the same thing or whatever you want to put up there. And then it looks like they also offer one for the Doctor optic red dot that puts it off to the side also. And then, of course, you pretty much customizable like that. So you don't have to order a scope base and then say, oh, great, now I want a level. Oh, now I want to mount an optic on top of it. So I thought that was pretty cool that they offer those options.
Yeah.
We've all done that a million times.
Yeah.
So with an MSRP starting at $281.95, so about $282. I'm guessing that's the starting price, and that it varies depending on the regions. It says depending on your region as far as shipping goes, but it doesn't say whether the different rings cost a different. If you want railed versus standard, I assume those would affect the price.
Yeah, I would assume that too. But it also said that, I'm looking at the last feature here, it's CNC machined, which is kind of a given. Let's see, cross lug bolts with a nut, so you don't have a huge screw thumb like Ryan loves, but you do get a nut to tighten it down. But here's the kind of cool option is the customer may request different ring diameters and heights to fill their particular requirements. So I'm guessing the three they offer, if you need something specific, they can offer that too.
Very cool.
It's kind of what I was thinking.
Well, and the fact that it's kind of skeletonized, even though it's a one-piece mount, it looks like it's got quite a bit of material removed from the connecting metal between the two rings. So you're really saving on weight. I don't see a specification on how much these weigh, but it definitely looks lighter than if you went like a Burris peeper mount.
Right.
Definitely would be heavier.
Or like I have a worn one, and it's pretty heavy mount. It's solid, and so yeah, I do believe this one would be quite a bit lighter.
Mm. Yeah, you should have mentioned this on the last episode for the tactical win, because this is actually very cool.
Well, I didn't see it until after you guys did that episode, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you dig into the site a little bit, you can find their pricing breakdown. That Doctor site is an extra $115 almost.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we don't do that. That's why Ryan has guests on.
Yeah. I like their top rail, how it's just not like a couple slots. It's actually a little bit cantilevered. So it's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots. So that if you were going to put some kind of micro red dot up there, it's not like going to be hanging off unsupported. You're pretty much going to have rail under the complete length of that sight, which is really nice.
They have 2 different heights as well for the top rail.
Oh, do they? Oh, that's the 2 different part numbers, huh?
Yep.
Well, that's nice.
Yep, very cool. So if you guys are interested in that, go to cadexdefense.com, look under their products and weapon accessories, and then look at the unit, or you gotta go look through commercial. There's 2 portals, military and commercial, and then weapon accessories, and then you can look at the unitized scope rings. All right. So the next product we got this week is another special ammo, special bullet made by G2 Research. If you're not familiar, G2 Research were the ones to put out that RIP ammo, that thing that looked like it came out of an Aliens movie, that rapidly split up into different, I forget the geometric name for the trocars. That's what they're called, the different splinters that go out into your body and ruin your day. So they're putting out what they call a VIP tracer ammo, and these are chemically luminescent ammunition. And the nice thing about that is that they do not use heat or any kind of burning phosphorus behind the bullet, which is going to make this safe to use most year-round in places where there's like dry backdrops. That's kind of a problem for using tracers in certain areas, like here in Eastern Washington. It gets really dry in the summers and falls, so you really can't use tracers that much until winter when there's actually snow on the ground.
Yeah, we kind of, even though I'm in Western Oregon, we don't have as much of that problem, but yeah, like the range I go to, no tracer ammo. Pretty much most of the places you don't want to shoot it, it's either too dry or there's still a good chance you'll start a fire with it. So that's the problem here. But even I don't think they at the range they'll allow this stuff either. But somebody, I don't know, 15 years ago had some regular target ammo that was also a tracer, and it was the same kind of non-fire style. And
yeah,
so
cold tracers is what they call them.
Yeah, and I actually had some of that, and you past about 10 yards it would go everywhere. So I wonder if this stuff does the same.
Yeah, they might have been working on it a little bit, because I'm no stranger to the concept either. I know somebody was putting out almost like gas checks, where if you were hand loading your own ammunition, you could actually like seat your this little tracer gas check behind your bullet, and so you could basically do it yourself if you're hand loading. But it was the same. I'm assuming it's the same. It's called triboluminescence, which is caused by electrons bouncing across a certain stressed or cracking material. So basically, the concussion and explosion hit this material behind the bullet at where the base is, and it causes damage, and that causes electrons to kind of freak out and produce a luminous light.
Right.
So let's see, they got a 9mm right now. It's completely lead-free. It's a 95 grain all copper slug with a tracer patch that makes an average of 1,150 feet per second in terms of velocity. So it's pretty standard for like target ammunition, maybe a little bit lighter. Most people use 115. And they are going to be working on 45 ACP, but right now it's about $1 a round, and they're sold in boxes of 20, so pretty much the same as buying a box of really nice self-defense ammunition. It's going to be costly for just a small amount of bullets. Highly visible out to 100 yards and dimly visible out up to 200 yards indoors at night and during twilight hours. So this isn't really, for you to go shoot 500 yards into a canyon and watch it go all the way.
Yeah.
I'd love to see a rifle round like this.
Yeah, definitely me too.
Yeah. So do they put smiley faces on it, or is that just .com thing?
Yep, looks like they put smiley faces on the flat nose of the bullet.
And if they do that, at least they're getting the comic relief in there. So.
Yeah. So I just don't know the benefit of really doing it indoors, like in an indoor range, besides the fact that you're going to distract everybody who's shooting next to you. Everyone's going to want to stop and ask, what are you shooting? I think that'd get pretty old fast if that were me.
Yeah. I don't know.
We all like to show off a little bit.
Yeah, it might be
Yeah,
kind of
that is
fun to.
true.
Yeah, it could be kind of fun to show off with a submachine gun and throw some of these in.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you happen to watch the video on their site?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. You said the submachine gun. That made me think of that.
Yeah, they don't have much information on their website, but I do have a link to guns.com that has a more thorough article on it in the show notes. So take a look at both of them. They both got the video, but check out the guns.com for more information.
Yeah, because I really don't know what you'd use this for.
Well, I mean, if you were shooting and taking your buddies shooting anywhere, and tracers are kind of a niche thing that are almost a novelty, but pretty functional too. And I mean, the threat of fire is a real big deal, and the fact that it's even lead free, a lot of people gotta love that because not gonna put lead. If you're shooting in your backyard, you're not putting lead back in the ground, even though that's where it came from. But so GTU Research, that website is G2Rammo.com, and then go under handguns and look under VIP. So next up, we got something I've looked at this in the past, and I don't think I mentioned it on the show before. As a graphic designer, I really kind of appreciate this. It's mag wraps by Rapid Wraps. And no, these are not a delicious lunch item. This is wraps that you wrap around your magazine, and they're designed in different patterns. And you can get like the American flag. You can get bacon, which of course, obviously, is the real winner here. They've
Looks
got
pretty
both
yummy.
cooked and uncooked bacon that you can wrap your PMag in, or your GI stand mag in. Got the Texas flag in there. You got kind of what looks like a Jack Daniels bottle, but it doesn't say Jack Daniels on it. It's just like that design. If you want your magazine to look like a whiskey bottle.
Yeah.
They got Nintendo controllers, Super NES, and the original NES. If you want your mag to look like that, just kind of interesting. Like you said, some guys like to show off at the range.
Yeah. The thing is, I've actually seen, I don't know if it was actually the Rapid Wraps ones, but I have seen these at like a gun show and stuff before. And I didn't look at them that closely, but for, like you said, people that want to show off, they're pretty cool, and they have some pretty cool looking ones. I mean, they don't have everything, but they're pretty cool. Oh, it looks like they have some Irish whiskey one too. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that one too. Oh, and as far as bacon goes, you can get cooked and uncooked. You just wrap it around your suppressor. I thought everybody knew that.
So they do AR-15 magazines, the 30 rounders, so like PMags, standard mags. They do 20 round 308 mags, and then they do Magwell slaps. I guess it's something that you actually apply to your Magwell on your AR-15. So they got one that's an American flag, a cryptic logo, and a mil-spec monkey logo. So if you want to pimp out your AR in this kind of way, there you go. I do like they have camouflage ones. So if you're not all about getting something weird on your magazine and you want it just camouflage, but you don't want to have it like hydro dipped, you can get like a multicam or ATAX or cryptic camo mag wrap, and there you go. So they're pre-cut, so you just kind of apply them, I guess, from the bottom, and then you need to have some kind of heat gun or hair dryer to kind of help set them in place. And then they do have girly ones too, from the, I guess, the Hot Shots calendar and the Liberty Bells calendar. So if you want a scantily clad lady on your magazine, that can be arranged also.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that, is
No.
there? They need to make
I
one of
mean,
those for the Jeep wrap they make. Does it say, or did I miss how do you apply them?
they've got a little video that I just
Mm,
kind of skimmed through while we were talking here. How to
okay.
apply it. Looks like they're just. It looks like he started from the bottom and he just kind of started to line it up. It's got certain kind of relief kits made so that it wraps around the back and the front a little easier, and then he had a heat gun to kind of help, I guess,
Right.
activate the glue or get it to conform to the different, like the waffle pattern in the Magpul magazine a little bit better.
Right. Right. I gotcha.
Yeah, but there's a lot on here, a lot of options, so
Yeah.
got to
Yeah,
check them out.
that's what I was thinking. There's a lot of options. They're pretty cool looking too.
Yep. It'd be even cooler since they obviously have the material and they have the stencil. If you could like upload your own design, like if you just wanted a picture of your ugly face on your magazine so that you could keep it, identify it from your buddies, you just send them a picture of your face and then they could print it out, and then you could, order it. That'd be funny.
That would be pretty funny. Yeah.
So the website for that is actually usnightvision.com. I know that sounds wrong, but they're, I guess, the owners of the Rapid Wraps brand. So go to usnightvision.com and then under Rapid Wraps on the sidebar, click on Mag Wraps and Slaps. So the next product that we got this week is a reloading product. This is Hornady just put out a lock and load quick change hand tool. I know probably a lot of people already have hand tools. This one's kind of interesting because it makes it a little bit easier to change out the different heads by using just dual-sided chucks. So it looks like there's 3 included dual-sided chucks along with chamfer and deburring tools, large and small primer pocket cleaners, neck brushes for 22, 25, 270, 30 cal, 35 cal, 9mm, and 45 cal. So you just kind of can keep one on one end of the chuck and one on the other, and then just as you're in between jobs, just release. There's a button that you can release the chuck, flip it upside down, stick it back in the tool, and keep going. So, like, you probably want like the chamfer and deburr tool on either side of the same chuck because you do those two kind of one after the other.
Yeah.
We failed to mention the MSRP of the mag wraps, didn't we?
We
Looks like we
did.
did. So those were
Yeah.
starting at $19.95. So just that So then back to this hand tool by Hornady, it's $63.72. So what do you guys think about this?
I like it. Not that I would need anything like this because I pretty much have everything.
Yeah.
But for somebody starting out, something like this would be really nice. And it looks like pretty much the little adapters it has, the quick change, are threaded like 832, so you can put in pretty much any cleaning brush you want or a bunch of anything that's basically threaded for that.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's got a nice big handle on it too, which is nice.
Yeah, some of those hand tools are still kind of slim, so that your hand kind of gets fatigued if you're doing the same task for like 100 rounds.
Yeah, especially if you're deburring the cases. The bigger handle helps there.
Yeah, it's kind of high on the price end though. Like I feel like my Lyman was not that much, and it works just fine. And I can even have it's double-sided on. It's basically like a little baton with 2 ends, so I could literally deburr, flip it around, and chamfer like without having to take anything apart. And I don't think it was over $60. So hopefully that's just the MSRP. You can find it in the store cheaper, probably closer to 50. I hope.
Most likely.
Yep. So that's all we got for products. We do have a very cool tech gadget or app after the reviews, so stay tuned for that, or just fast forward to that if you want to. It's probably the coolest one we've ever mentioned on the podcast. Just letting you know.
Yeah, maybe.
So now we're going to get into the Firearms Insider reviews, and it looks like Chad finally brought one with him, so I'm going to go ahead and let him go first.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured you would do. Yeah, I've been slacking, so I figured I'd write one since I didn't get to go shoot machine guns this weekend. So what I brought it's a review on the Bushnell, their AR series scopes. And this particular one is 3 to 12 by 40, and I'll hold it up here. It's on the rifles, so I'm not sure if you can get any decent pictures of it. So it's kind of, you can see it's got side parallax adjustment, target turrets. I really doubt you'll be able to see anything through this. If I can get my head out of the way. Nope. So you're out of luck there. So I guess I won't hold it up anymore. But what it is it's kind of, they make this line of scopes for their, like I said, they call it the AR series, and they're meant to be used on an AR. They are actually quite inexpensive for what you get, especially with the features. This one, I'll go over the features a little later, but the nice thing about it is I bought it. I was looking for an inexpensive scope to put on it. It really worked great. It has, it's got a BDC reticle, which is designed for the 55 grain basic, 5.56 ammo, which it'll pretty much work with a 62 grain also. The range on the BDC reticle, you got your standard kind of duplex crosshair, and you sight that in at 100 yards, and then it has dots down it. In my review on the Firearms Insider, you can see a picture of it, thanks to Bushnell. And this first dot would be 200, then 300, 400, 500, and then the 600 one, which is kind of odd, is where the duplex reticle, the point of it, kind of meets, which is kind of an odd thing. I would have preferred a dot or some other designator, but I guess you get what you pay for there. I was unable to try it out past 300 yards, but the drop reticle worked great at 200 and 300, so I'm assuming that 4, 5, and 6 are going to work fine. It does not have any hash marks or anything for wind adjustments, so you basically will have to dial in the wind, which, speaking of, it has resettable target turrets, non-capped, so there's an O-ring underneath them, which is kind of nice. The only bad part about them is you have to take an Allen wrench with you to loosen the screw on the turrets, and loosen it enough that you can pull the cap up, turn it back to 0, and then push it back down, and tighten the screw back down, which, like I said, that's okay with me. I mean, once you have it zeroed in, you pretty much don't do anything with it anyway, unless you're changing ammo. The one thing I liked about it was, for the price I paid, which I actually got it for like $156. They're $165 on Amazon. MSRP is $259.95, and they're $179.99 at Brownells. But for the price, it is very, very clear. I was really surprised, except when you get up once you get up into the high ranges, 10, 11, 12, the glass is still clear, but you have kind of a fuzzy ring around the outside. Not too bad, but that's kind of was expected I didn't find that it was odd, especially in the price range that I was looking at. The other thing about them is the eye relief on it when you get up in the 10, 11, 12 magnification is also a little more critical than the lower magnifications, which I think is really any scope, but I think the higher end scopes don't have near as many problems with that. Now, here comes the deal breaker for most people. It's 12 inches long, which I've seen shorter ones in that range, but it weighs 21 ounces. So, you're looking at almost a pound and a half just in a scope, which is not something you would want to lug around every day. But then again, it's kind of more of a entry-level 3-gun scope, so it's not terrible to be lugging around a range. So I'll go over some of the Firearms Insider key points. The claim to fame, inexpensive tactical scope for AR-style rifles. Target markets, pretty much anybody looking for an inexpensive optic with some higher priced features like the side parallax adjustment and stupid dog and the target turrets. And some of the features and benefits are the drop zone BDC reticle, the side parallax adjustment, the resettable turrets. It does have a second focal plane, which is kind of a given in that price range. Fully multi-coated optics, which is pretty much everybody has. It comes in matte black only. It is a 1-inch tube diameter, not a 30 millimeter. Let's see if the field of view is 33 feet at 100 yards at 3x and 11 feet at 12x. It looks like you have plus is 50 inches of adjustment range at 100 yards. And anything else you need to know? It's quarter minute clicks at 100 yards. Let's see, I'll read you some of these. Some other reviews I found. This one's from Brian on Amazon. It's a verified user, so that always helps. Pretty good scope. Install and zeroing was pretty easy. I bought this in a millet one-piece mount, sold as a combo here on Amazon. The mount allowed forward offset to improve eye relief on my flat top AR. Eye relief is around 4 inches. The eyepiece is large and optics are crisp, I think he's supposed to say. Both eyes open work great. Not as crisp as the Nikon I have in the same price range, but acceptable. There is both a focus and parallax adjustment to make sure you get the crosshairs in sharp focus, which is nice. The turrets are a little mushy and don't give good tactile feedback, but are acceptable. The zoom has no stops, which I don't really like, and is pretty high effort to turn, which may be the price for a weather seal on the scope. Adjust zoom requires a firm grip on the rifle because even with bipod you need good leverage to change it. So far it has held a crisp 0 through 40 shots, and the MOA system is nice for no shot ranging. This is a good varmint scope in my honest opinion. If it stays as good as it has been while new, I will be very happy. I also noticed that the adjustment is pretty hard to adjust the 3 to 12x. I didn't mention the 12x is where the BDC reticle is calibrated at, so you would have to try to figure out anything else. And then we have a review from Brownells from Cav Scout DM. It says, great scope, unbelievable price. Mounted this scope on my just finished 24-inch long-range AR, and I couldn't be happier. Repeatable, clear, and the BDC works great with just a little practice. Bushnell hit a home run with this one. I just wished I'd seen the 18X, as I would have bought it instead of the 12X. No matter, though, as I said before, they knocked it out of the park with this one. And If you need it now, you can get it on Amazon or Brownells through the Firearms Radio links, or your local gun shop might have one, local sporting goods store, places like that. Our rating, the pros are the side parallax adjustment, the target turrets, the resettable turrets, and the good glass clarity at most magnifications. The cons are it's heavy. It's fairly long for that style of scope. The turrets are semi-mushy, which I didn't find terrible, but they're not super precise like some are. And it's not super clear at 12x, meaning the around the outside can get a little fuzzy, but if you're looking at the crosshairs, I didn't have any trouble. So I gave it a 7.5, which is good. You guys got any questions?
I've got that same scope on my AR.
Okay, so what do you think of it?
For the price point, I absolutely love it.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I dropped it out of my truck on the rifle, and it still holds zero perfectly fine.
Well, that's good to know. See, you're helping my review out. You got any questions, Ryan?
Yeah. Why, as someone who lives in the state of Oregon, did you not get a Redfield or a Loophole?
Well, here's the reason. I looked at the Redfield ones. They don't make a 3 to 12 in the style I wanted. They only make a 3 to 9. And then, of course, if I'm going to buy a scope that's comparable to a Leupold or Leupold, I'm probably going to get a Vortex anyway.
Yeah. Just joking around. I understand that the AR optic line from Bushnell is actually really competitive. And of course, it looks good on your AR. It's not like you're slapping a hunting scope style. This has definitely got like a little bit of a tactical look and tactical features that you'd want on your tactical firearm. If you're using it and you want to rapidly switch magnification levels, is that pretty easy to do as far as getting a hold of that ring and turning it around?
The ring has good grip on it, but it is stiff like that one review said. It's loosened up a little in the time I've used it, but I don't think it's going to get any looser. So,
can you do yours with one hand?
Yeah, I can. I don't know if you can. I can.
After 2 years, I still have to use two hands on mine.
Do ya? Yeah, mine's it's still stiff, but you can do it.
I just had a thought like, wow, that could be taken differently, and then I didn't say anything, and then you're like, I still have to use two hands on mine, and mine's still kind of stiff. It's like, wow, it's not getting any better.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I posted a link on my Facebook page to this review, and so of course, a friend of mine comes on there and says, 21 ounces, heavy and long, isn't that what she said?
Oh man, we hang out with Nick from the Practically Tactical podcast too much. If that's where our minds are going right off the bat. But I'm surprised that they've got that one AR optics that's got almost like a power lever on there, or lever with an R.
Yeah, on there 1 to 4, whatever it is.
Yeah, and that's why I wanted to get one of those at one time, because I thought that'd be really handy until I read some reviews that, it's not as robust as you would think it is. But you think a small nub just to help you get a better leverage on this would be a welcome addition?
Yeah, I would think it would, especially since it's not the easiest.
Cool. That's all my questions.
Okay, then I guess we're done with that review.
All right. So now, in contrast, we're going to review something that's small and light and does kind of fit in one hand. And this is the Pelican Mighty Light 1960 LED. You like that transition? That was good segue.
Oh yeah, great.
Yeah. So I'm not being sponsored or paid off by Pelican, I swear. But the case maker, ironically, I did get this flashlight for like a stocking stuffer last year, and it's been kind of like my really handy light that I keep in the glove box or I'll throw in the toolbox. It's got its weaknesses, but the unique part about it is that it's made by Pelican, and it's made out of the same ABS body as their other cases that make them so almost indestructible. So it's made of that xenoi, which is kind of like an ABS polymer. The lens is just a clear polycarbonate, and it's got just a single LED in there. So it's got a shroud that you spin, and then it basically tightens down and until the light contacts the batteries, the two AAA batteries, and then it turns on. So it's only 24 lumens, so it's not super bright. So most guys might want like a Surefire or something like that. But I think it's really handy to have something small, light, and very impervious to taking abuse, and that you can use in your truck or in your house without blinding you and everyone else because of too much power output. So that's kind of the strength of this little guy. Yeah, I'll just go through the review here. It only lasts for about 3 hours of runtime on those two AAA batteries, and that's kind of a bummer. So you're not going to want to keep this for like everyday carry. If you're keeping it in your truck or in your pocket for like defensive scenarios at night, you're better off getting a different light. They make lights that are this size and smaller, with more power output and last longer than this. So that's kind of sad. But the caveat is that this thing is like really strong. It's resists chemicals, corrosion, and extreme temperatures, and that's all part of the body here. So claim to fame is an evolution on the popular Mighty Light 1900. The 1960 LED brings the latest in LED technology, built compact and lightweight to fit inside your pocket, yet bright enough to illuminate with 24 lumens. So the target market, I just say, is everybody and their mothers. The features and benefits, obviously the ABS resin body and all those things that it's resistant against. Runtime is 3 hours, like I said. It's got a xenoi pocket clip that's just kind of built right into the body, and it's a pretty tough pocket clip. I mean, I put my thumb underneath it and kind of pull it out quite a bit, and I'm not seeing kind of any discoloration of the plastic. It's not turning white or warping, so that's pretty good. It's on-off mode only, rotary switch operation. The contact is phosphor bronze, and also is the spring and retainer, and I'll show you guys that when I take it apart. There's an O-ring inside here that makes it waterproof and submersible for up to 1 meter for 30 minutes. So that O-ring is right here at the base of these threads. So as soon as you put the shroud on there and twist it and those threads start to make contact, get a bite, that O-ring is keeping water out. So you kind of twist it till it turns on and then untwist or loosen to turn it off and just kind of leave it like that. So when you need to turn on, you only need to twist it, maybe like a third of a turn or whatever. Obviously, you don't want it so close to the contact point that it turns on in your pocket on accident just by friction and then runs out in 3 hours. So you're going to want to twist it at least maybe like a full turn when you're not using it. So I'll show you the internals. So here is the contact assembly here. So just got a nice spring, the single LED, and then there's two AAAs inside the body here as I dropped it. The interesting thing is that I noticed if you cracked or got mud on the lens and you weren't able to clean it, you could actually take the shroud off completely and then just use your thumb and push the contact in and turn it on. And then if you know Morse code, you could just rest your thumb on this and then start blinking away, and it kind of makes a little signal light, so you can start talking in Morse code, SOS, if you remember that. So it's got Pelican's limited lifetime guarantee of excellence. What other aesthetic options? It does come in black and kind of more of a yellow. There's no other reviews that I found on it, and the MSRP, couldn't find that either, but it is retailing on Amazon for $23.92, so that'd be about 24 bucks. So I got the affiliate link to Amazon in the show notes, and in the review if you want to click on that. So the beam distance is 51 meters according to Pelican's website, and the O-ring is EPDM, whatever that means. The weight without batteries is 1.1 ounces. The weight with batteries is 1.9 ounces, so still under 2 ounces. The length is just shy of 5.5 inches long, and it's a pretty simple light. So I gave it a 7.5 as good. The Pro's small enough for EDC or enclosed space illumination, vehicle cab, engine compartment, etc. Like I said, just throw it in your console or your glove box. And if you need a light for, you bump into something in your vehicle at night, you can just, kind of grab it and you'll go check it out. It's got a faceted body, so it won't roll on, level surfaces, so that's kind of nice. And it's dust-proof, waterproof, and submersible, and the light can be activated with the shroud removed, like I showed you before, by using your thumb. The only con I gave it is it's a low runtime of 3 hours, so that's kind of a bummer. So that's my review.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know if you can really find these anymore. They've got a lot of Mighty lights out there in different models, not the 1960. And they've got a lot called the Nemo, and those are meant more for water use and have a higher submersion rating. So I don't know if you're going to be able to find this exactly. This might have been like, at the checkout of some kind of store as like a last-minute stocking stuffer type deal that someone picked up for me. But I found it actually quite handy to use. Out of all the flashlights I've had, obviously I haven't lost this one yet. So one thing I also didn't mention, that it's got a hole right at the tip of the pocket clip here, so you can run some kind of lanyard through it if you want to. So that's our reviews. And the Tech Gadget app this week, like I said, it's pretty awesome. This is called Lily, and Lily is a camera drone that's very personal for individual civilian use. This isn't a Predator drone, but it's so darn cute. Right now, it's kind of got almost like a crowdfunding campaign, so you can pre-order it. So it's got an MSRP of about $999, but if you pre-order now, you can get it for $519, which includes shipping. So basically, it's $500 of a discount plus $20 for shipping. So why would you want this thing? Well, let me tell you. It's almost like a Roomba that was designed with a camera and 4 rotary blades. So ironically, John here builds drones, and so he knows a little something about drones. So I did not plan that out, luckily.
Yeah, this thing's an absolute steal at $500.
Yeah. If you guys go to the website lily.camera, so instead of .com, it's www.lily.camera. You can actually just watch the video. There's a button that says watch video right there. And basically, you take this thing out of your bag, and you press the back, which makes its eyes light up, which is a little bit auspicious. But then you just throw it in the air, and it rights itself up and starts flying. So you can check this thing. So you are holding a kind of handheld personal device that acts as kind of the tracker and also the remote control. So it's got different modes, but basically it follows you around, autonomously, and while it's shooting video in 1080p, it's 1200 frames per second, and it takes 12 megabyte stills, and you can control this like the video versus stills versus the movement style, all with the remote. So it's got like a mode where it'll circle you, it's got one where it'll follow you, and then it's got one where it'll just kind of strafe side to side. But yeah, they showed the cool videos of a guy like throwing it in the air and then just snowboarding, like going down the hill and it follows him. So I guess it's got 20 minutes worth of flight time on its charge. Have you guys checked out the video for it?
I was kind of rushed for time, and I didn't get to check the video out, which is probably a really good thing, because every time I stare at this thing, I'm like, this thing is so sweet. And, I was checking on it, and I thought, it's basically sealed from dust and water to some extent.
Yeah.
It's like it's like 1 meter is the rating. So basically, if it's pouring down rain in Washington or Oregon, you're not going to have to worry about it going bad. But
in the video, they show somebody in a kayak. They pull it out and throw it in the water, and it like floats on top, and then like really quickly starts to levitate upwards. So that was kind of interesting. So if you're flying it around and it loses its juice and it falls into the creek or pond, like that's not the death of it. It'll be okay as long as you, I assume, retrieve it pretty quickly. I'm trying to look for how long that rating is.
I think it's pretty much as long as it's within the specs. It's pretty much indefinitely.
See, its waterproof rating is IP67, which means that you can take it 1 meter underwater and it will perform as expected. However, we recommend you do not spin the motors underwater. Lily is not a submarine.
Yeah. I was looking up the IP ratings because 6 is dust tight, and then the 7 is 30-minute test duration of up to 1 meter.
Yeah.
So, my one question I had, and since you watched the video, did it show it landing? Does it like have an auto land when it's running low on power? Or
I don't know about that mode when it's low on power. I assume it does, but they showed the video where the guy snowboarded down the hill and it followed him and caught all of his cool tricks, and then when he got there, he must hit a button on the remote when he had his hand out, and it kind of just landed in his palm. So there must be some kind of setting where, I don't know, you hit land and it starts to hover downward, and just make sure your palm is under it and you'll catch it. But
yeah,
it looks like it's built pretty robust where it'll land on the ground okay.
Yeah, or I wonder if it tracks the little tracking device and hovers in towards it when you push the land button.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when the battery gets low, it'll actually it meters that, and it'll go in towards you and land safely if you're not watching.
Oh, that's cool.
That's cool. So they call it's kind of like a midnight black polycarbonate with brushed aluminum accents. So the arms going to the quadcopters are brushed aluminum, and it's got kind of a brushed aluminum trim. It only weighs 2.8 pounds, so it's under 3 pounds. Runs on a built-in lithium-ion battery. 20 minutes of flight time. You can charge it with a 5-amp charger. Charge time is about 2 hours. The max altitude that it can fly above your head is 50 feet. The minimum altitude is 5 feet. It does not have any built-in obstacle avoidance. So they do say that, do not operate around kids or pets, because if you got a kid that's, sitting on something and they're, within 5 feet tall, they're fair game for this thing. So be careful for that. They might work on that in the future, I imagine. The max speed is 25 miles per hour. Max distance from user is 100 feet. Minimum distance from user is 5 feet. The camera resolution, like I said, it's 1080p at 60 frames per second or 720p at 120 frames per second. with a 94-degree field of view, and the photo resolution, I said that before, was 12 megapixels. So you'll be able to get some pretty amazing shots with this thing. It's got a bunch of sensors: accelerometer, 3-axis gyro, magnetometer, barometer, GPS, front-facing camera, and a bottom-facing camera. I didn't know it had 2 cameras. That's something new that I just learned. Like, it's got these kind of arched eyes, almost looks very like Japanese cartoon, and it's got like a round camera port that's, would kind of look like a mouth. But I guess that's the front-facing camera, and it's got one also below. It's got a micro SD card slot in the back, as well as the charge port. You're provided with 4 gigabytes micro SD, and you can also just put in a larger capacity in there too. Let's see, what else am I missing? It's got a companion app you can download to change camera settings, create custom shots, edit and share content, and that's available on the iPhone and Android platform. It's just iOS, so it might work on tablets too. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, you forgot the tracking device comes with a waterproof wrist case.
Yeah, I was just scrolling down to that. So that is some futuristic stuff right there. Like, you put this tracking device on your watch band, basically. I mean, this is like what was in Mission Impossible like 10 years ago, and it's now a toy or a hobby item today. It's amazing.
Yeah, I fly it around at night and scare people that you're flying UFOs.
I'd love to use this for a gun.
Oh yeah, of course that's what we're thinking, is how can we use this pertaining to guns, and in a match it would be awesome. Hunting would be great too. It depends on how quiet it is. It looks like it wouldn't be all that loud, but
it is very loud.
Is it loud?
Those things are quite loud.
I was gonna say, with those 4 motors and props on them or whatever, it's probably louder than you would think.
Okay, so maybe not quite for deer hunting necessarily, but if
I'll use it for hogs.
Yeah, hogs would be all right. Especially
Rabbit.
at night, a lot of nocturnal animals just think you can't see them anyway.
Yeah.
Then again, this camera wouldn't really see you all that well to begin with at night.
They need to put an infrared or something in it, or heat thermal camera in it.
Yeah.
Next model.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that thing's super sweet. You need to get one, Ryan.
I agree. I do need to get one. I will be sending them an email asking them if they do any kind of T&E for reviews, because this is something that would just be so fun. I mean, if you want to shoot any kind of action video, quadding, surfing, skiing, snowboarding, skateboarding, snowmobiling, running,
Yeah.
it'd be very cool. And even it'd be fun for, like, putting on your fastening to your dog, and maybe, like, for instance, like, sending your dog out to flush out some birds or something and having it follow it. That'd be kind of cool.
That's a cool idea. Just don't shoot it instead of the birds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's not bulletproof. They haven't released a Dick Cheney model yet. So yeah, I mean, my voice has gone kind of monotone, but this is actually super cool, guys. You need to check out the video. I shared it on my Facebook page, but this kind of really would fit well with anybody, like not just a shooter or a hunter, but anybody that likes to do an outdoor activity, that's used GoPro once or twice, and maybe they're hoping for something a little bit more. $500 for something with this capacity is awesome. Like, I think if you were to, the Parrot drone is kind of similar, but you have to fly the thing, with your phone. This is completely autonomous, and that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about it, is you just start it up and then you just toss it in the air and it follows you around. What more could you want?
Put some kind of guns or fireworks on it.
Yeah, but then you want one you could control?
Yeah, true. I don't, because it is following me, so I wouldn't want that.
Oh,
Yeah.
you
Maybe,
could slip it in somebody's back pocket and drop some firecrackers on it, and there you go.
yeah. Well, if it could bring me a beer, that'd be cool. Like, since it knows where I am. So just looking at some of the frequently asked questions, people are asking like, can I replace the blades if they get damaged? And yes, you'll be able to do that. They'll sell blades separately if it does run into something, like your toddler's head. They'll be able to replace that. So they'll release a video soon how to replace the propellers yourself without having to send it in pretty soon. Saltwater, they say that it's possible. They don't recommend it, but they say that they recommend that you rinse the motors thoroughly after saltwater exposure because they are subject to corrosion over time. So if you're going to use this for surfing, you're going to probably want to keep it pretty clean.
I don't surf. The water's too cold.
Yeah, I hear that. One thing that is kind of a bummer is that you can't swap out the battery. So in order to waterproof Lily, they had to strip away the ability to remove the battery pack. So 20 minutes of flight time is just enough, is what they say. Basically saying, well, just live with it. 20 minutes is good enough. So that's kind of a bummer. I know that everything that runs on a rechargeable battery ultimately starts to lose potency and effectiveness over time. So hopefully they'll have some kind of program to, I don't know, if you charge this thing after so many cycles, you're going to need to send it in to have them replace the battery at some point.
Heck, it's so cheap at this pre-order price you could buy two.
Yeah, exactly. So, very cool. Drones aren't to be feared necessarily. Drones can be our friends. I'm just kidding. So anyway, that's the Tech Gadget or app. There's no listener feedback to speak of right now. I just wanted to let you guys know about the Firearms Radio Network EDC giveaway that we're still running to the end of June. So if you haven't already entered, you need to do so. So we're giving away some cool EDC items, everyday carry, a CAR P9 pistol, as well as some products by Alien Gear Holsters, Keybar, Hellbent Holsters, Precisioneer, Easy to See Targets, Cancer Runner Designs, Wazoo Survival Gear, and LA Police Gear. How to win? You just have to put in an entry. How do you enter? Be a patron using the Patreon campaign of either four Patreon campaigns. The Firearms Radio Network, which is monthly or per episode, you can do Gun Guy Radio, This Week in Guns, or We Like Shooting. So you just got to do that once, and you're already entered. If you don't want to give us your money, on the firearmsradio.tv/EDC webpage, there's a form. Put your name, email, phone number, and a testimonial on how the Firearms Radio Network has affected your life. And that'll be considered an entry as well. So make sure you do that before June 30th if you want to be entered in to win. So yeah, wrapping up. Send questions or comments to myself, cross at firearmsradio.tv or podcast at firearmsinsider.tv. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. Check out all the other shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. And be sure to visit the Firearms Insider website for reviews and industry coverage. Well, thank you both for joining me. It was always a pleasure to have you on. Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Glad I could make it.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for your expertise, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. Shoot safe. Have a good week.
Later.
See ya.
Yep. Cool. That was easy. Yeah, if only I had the funds for that kind of stuff. But I've actually put in for quite a bit of T&E products here lately. It just seems like people are sending me links to new products that people are interested in having reviewed. So might be getting some stuff here. I'm expecting a rifle this week, actually.
Oh, really?
It says you're still live.
Oh, I thought I pressed stop.